In this video, I want to go over examples 3 and 4 from your notes in Empower on one-step equations. So we're going to start the same way by drawing a vertical line through our equal sign to split our equation into two sides. And then we want to identify our variable, which in this case is the letter B. And then I want to read just that side of the equation starting with my variable. And I'm going to write it over to the side. So I would read this as B divided by, because remember the fraction bar is the same as division. So B divided by negative 4.2. And then I'm going to rewrite this so I have a little more space as I'm solving it. And I want to do the opposite. So my operation is divided by, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So I want to multiply by negative 4.2, remembering I only change the operation, not the sign of the number. So division changes to multiplication, but negative 4.2 is going to stay negative 4.2. So if I multiply by negative 4.2 on both sides, on the left-hand side, those negative 4.2s are inverses, so they cancel each other out. But if you want a little more clarification on why that happens, I can always take any number and put it over 1. And then I could multiply negative 4.2, like multiply across negative 4.2 times b, which will give me negative 4.2 b, and then over negative 4.2. So if I just write that down below, just to kind of show you. But then negative 4.2 divided by negative 4.2 equals 1, which essentially means it cancels out. So you could show this step or you could cancel it out in this step above, as long as you understand why that's happening. And so the answer from that actually becomes 1b. And then you multiply the other side. So 5.3 times negative 4.2 equals negative 22.26. And then just as before, we know 1b is the same thing as just b, and that would equal negative 22.26. Then you could check your answer as we've done before by taking our answer, substituting it into the original equation, and making sure that both sides are equal. So when I substitute negative 22.26 in for b and divide by negative 4.2, my answer should be 5.3. If it doesn't equal, then that tells you there's something wrong with your answer that you need to go back and check. So then let's look at example 4. So we'll start the same way by drawing our vertical line, identify our variable, which in this case is p, but I want to point out that it's actually positive p because we should always take the sign in front with our variable or with our number. And then if I read this, I would read it as p or positive p, either plus negative 10.7 or minus 10.7. For now, I'm going to write it as plus negative 10.7 because you can always put an extra addition sign. And then we're going to work backwards. So the opposite of plus negative 10.7 would be subtraction. And then we keep negative 10.7 because we got to keep the sign. And then if you remember the rule, when you have a minus and a negative, you can actually combine those together to form a plus sign. So really what we're doing to both sides is we're going to be adding 10.7. So I want to put that on the left and on the right. Now, if I actually solve that on the left, 12 plus 10.7 would give me 22.7. And then on the right-hand side, how you know that you did it correctly is something should always cancel out. If it doesn't, that tells you something is wrong. So negative 10.7 plus 10.7 equals 0. If you don't get 0, then you're probably using the wrong operation. So those cancel out, and then I just bring down my p. And that's your answer. Now, one of the things, sometimes the way that this part is written is confusing for people. And so I want to show you that if you want to rearrange this equation to make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can do that. And so here's what I mean. So our equation right now is 12 equals negative 10.7 plus p. But maybe it confuses you that p is at the end. So let me draw my line so you can see. But what I want you to know is that this equation is the same as if we were to rearrange it. So obviously our 12 will stay where it's at, equals, and we said we always take the sign in front. So this negative 10.7 is one term, and then positive p is the other term. So if I switch them, just make sure you keep the signs. So then it's really going to become positive p, or just p, minus 10.7. So these are the same equation, just written in a different order. And then if that helps you, if we were to read this, it would be p minus 10.7, which means the opposite of minus is plus 10.7. And if you notice, that's what we did up here, right? We added 10.7. It's just eliminating that middle step. So that's just a good thing to know, is if this first way that we did it is a little bit confusing, then maybe rearrange it for yourself first and then read it and work backwards. Hopefully this helps, and let me know if you have any questions.